What's going on, everyone? It's Waiver Wire Queen. We are about to do a mock draft for our upcoming league. I'm gonna have Dave and Quentin in here showing everybody how terrible they are at drafting. Just about to have a little bit of fun. We're waiting for Dre to join us, and I'm gonna get ready to share my screen with you guys. Give me 1 second. All right, so we'll be getting started. Everyone is doing this mock based on the position that they have in the draft. As you can see, Dre was blessed with the first pick. It's a gift and a curse. I have the 11th pick, Q 8th, and then Hove, aka Dave. He has the 9th pick. And we're about to have a little fun because we are addicted to doing mock drafts. We enjoy doing mock drafts. I think I do several mock drafts a day. And now this mock draft is good just for us to kind of develop whatever strategies we are considering for the real thing. I'm not gonna really show everybody what I really plan on doing, but I'm just testing out a bunch of different strategies here in this draft to help me determine my final one. And my final one, I'm not gonna do a mock with anyone who's going to be in the league. I would do something, you know, alone because it's for me, and I don't want these guys to steal all of my secrets. They like to steal Waiver Wire Queen secrets. So we're about to get started here in this draft. Dre is on the clock. This draft, this league has extra incentives for the running back, the wide receiver, and the tight end. This is a one quarterback league, so it's not a super flex. We normally do a lot of super flex leagues, and also we love using the sleeper app. This is by far the best app that I have used, and I've used quite a few. So this one has been the best app for what we've been trying to do, and that is a bunch of dynasty leagues. This is going to be our first redraft league using the sleeper app, and I mean, it should be no issues. Everyone is familiar with it. As you can see, Dave, he likes to take about 2 hours picking. I already can tell you what Dave's strategy is. He's just picking Kels. He doesn't really have a strategy, but I notice in every mock, he's picking Kels. So I'm going to assume that come draft night, he's going to pick him in the first round. Now, let's see what Waiver Wire Queen strategy is. You can come up with so many different strategies that'll help your team. Normally, I like to try to draft a running back in the first round. One year I switched over and I ended up trying something different, and I actually had a great regular season. I drafted the top 2 wide receivers first. Another good strategy, which a lot of people like to use is to pair a quarterback with either their running back or wide receiver. And that's good because, those points. If Kirk Cousins throws Jefferson touchdown, then boom. And you have Cousins and you got him, then that's double points. But let me pick before they have a heart attack, because I can see them rolling their eyes right now. So what I'm gonna do right here is hurry up and pick before they cuss me out, because that's what it's looking like is going here. Now, what I noticed when we've done some previous mocks, we did quite a few last night, and I mean the running backs went quick, and I think that's because of the extra incentives we have for the running back position. So I'm taking that into consideration when I do this mock here. So when I'm looking to see, so my boy was taken because I was gonna take Adams. However, I'm just gonna settle in on. I'm just gonna do this right here. So I'm gonna do 2 running backs, and when I first started doing fantasy, that's what I would do. 2 running backs first, and that was my comfort zone. And then I started kind of stepping out of my comfort zone and just trying different strategies to see which one would work best. And my best regular season record came from drafting two wide receivers, and I think I had Adams. I know that was my first one that I drafted. Um, and obviously last year he had a great season. So he had a great season. Yes, I am multitasking. Check me out on YouTube, guys. Y'all don't know that I'm on here, but I am on here live and having a good time with the guys. Um, let's get back to talking about the Sleeper app. There's so many different features that the Sleeper app offers, especially if you're doing a dynasty league. They have like the taxi squad, and you can place like players in there, and your commissioner will determine the number of years. It's from 0 to 4 years. I think that is, to me, equivalent to a practice squad. So say for instance, I drafted Kellen Mond, and obviously he's not ready to play, but maybe I'm drafting him because I believe in a few years he's going to be that guy. So with the Sleeper app, you can place him in the taxi squad for however long your commissioner has determined that taxi squad, that a player can be eligible to be in the taxi squad. So that's one of the great features. I also would say, like, before I really started using Sleeper, I used to actually use Sleeper for their updates because I would get all of the latest news on players and just things going on around the NFL. And that helped me when I was using Yahoo and doing a bunch of redraft leagues. So that's one of the great things about Sleeper is the updates. And the updates are pretty much accurate. So, all right, now that I have gone out on a limb and drafted two running backs, I am going to draft um, a wide receiver here, and I like Allen Robinson. However, I prefer Evans over him. So one thing I'll say with the guys drafting, they have to do their research on the setup of this league, because this is not our standard. This is not the norm, the type of league that we normally run. So I'm hoping that they do their homework, because come draft night, you're not gonna be able to change. So I'm hoping that, they do the right thing. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to pretty much, this is going to be considered reaching, but I don't consider it a reach, because here I'm going to go do this because I'm high on him this year. So I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb. Okay, so Dak Prescott is going to be ready week 1. Had a shoulder strain. I don't feel that's going to affect his game fantasy wise, nor will that hurt Lamb, Cooper. They'll be ready to go week 1. I have high expectations for the Dallas offense, and Elliott. I think he's going to be back to the old Elliott, but they're going to get Pollard more involved. However, if you're a Dak owner, like I am in a league, don't be concerned about this injury. It's nothing major. So week 1, he should be ready. I'm expecting big things this season. And I love CeeDee Lamb's game, and I'm going to go on out on a limb to say that CeeDee Lamb is going to have a better season than Cooper. He was on pace. Before Dak got hurt, CeeDee Lamb was on pace to have a hell of a season. He still had a solid year, and he was going to give Cooper a run for his money. I'm going to say that he's going to surpass Cooper statistically. Waiver Wire Queen said it here first. And plus, hopefully Cooper is ready to go week 1 as well. He's still good to go, but let's see what he does. Let's see what he does out here. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about this Sleeper app. So again, like I said, you have the taxi squad, the IR slot. There's so much you can do with the IR slot. when it comes to, you know, the flexibility of adding COVID players and different things like that. You get to select those options. Like on other platforms, you don't get to select the option as to what, say, the IR slot is used for. So I haven't been on some of those platforms in a few years. So hopefully they updated that. Some other things about Sleeper, I will say that the one thing they need to work on is hold on for a second. Let me draft first. Now I think is the right time. See what I'm doing right here? I'm pairing Dak Prescott with CeeDee Lamb here. That was my goal. And now right here is going to be perfect spot for me to draft tight end that I'm high on. I am super high on this young man. He's right now in my top 5 rankings. If you go back and look at my top 10 tight end rankings, I have him ranked ahead of Mark Andrews. He is going to have a hell of a season because with Hutchinson, who the hell is Jared Goff throwing that football to? I know you have some other guys who have been in the NFL for an extended period of time, but guess what? They're not him. They're not going to outproduce TJ Hawkinson. I think he is going to ball out this year. And he's been doing well and making progress since he's gotten into the NFL. I think this is the year because one, there's opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity here because I don't feel like the Lions invested much in the wide receiver position this offseason. I know like I said, they've added some veterans, I'll call them, since they've been in the NFL for extended period of time. However, this young man is in my top 5, and we want to thank Dave for releasing TJ Hawkinson as if he was trash because he feels that he's not going to have a good year. So he actually just released him, and someone was able to pick him up. You can't do that. You just don't release players, but nonetheless, he did. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. Let's see if anyone has a plan. Let's look at Dave's plan. I don't really see it. He's just drafting. I don't see a plan right there. I noticed that, as you can see, Quentin is going wide receiver heavy. And I will tell you, by looking at this mock, I can tell that Quentin is not aware that this is not a super flex. So hopefully he takes the time to look back at what he did in this mock draft and realize that, hey, this is not a super flex league. So he really didn't need to draft Aaron Rodgers right then and there because he won't be able to start both of them. So hopefully he understands that. So this particular league, we are starting 3 wide receivers. And like I said, the running back, tight end, and wide receiver, there are extra incentives for those positions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going with Robbie Anderson. I think he had a good year last year with Teddy Bridgewater. And now with Darnold being back, they are familiar with each other. They have a rapport. I feel like he is going to be solid this season. And if you draft him with confidence, he's going to have a good year. Like I said, he had a good season with Teddy, and you figure him and Darnold, they have a rapport. So he's not a bad player to pick up. And you see Dre already letting Quentin know, hey, why are you drafting all those quarterbacks so early? Just got to let him know that, hey, this is not a super flex league. So he needs to pay attention. So right here, I'm going to kind of go down a little bit, and I'm going to draft Michael Carter. He is a rookie. Obviously, we all know the running back situation out there. Prior to the Jets drafting Michael Carter, they had Coleman. Who else did they have? Pretty much, they had some running backs who have been around, and they haven't really done much with the opportunities. that they had. They had the one running back who was on the Lions, and then he was given the opportunity, didn't do well over there. Jets didn't do well. So when I look at all of the running backs on the Jets roster, Michael Carter, I feel like he definitely has the opportunity to win that starting job. As you can see, he has been getting reps with the first team, which is a great sign for a rookie, and he's playing well. So whenever, if they don't start him week one, whenever he's given that opportunity, I think he's going to make the most of it and end up winning that starting job. So, you know, not a bad investment. I will say again, in this league, I've noticed that running backs are going super fast, faster than any leagues I've ever been in. So that is something for me to really think about going into the actual draft, because that's not good. That's not good at all. All right. So one thing I'll say about the sleeper app, they have the watch list. And like everyone's familiar with the watch list. You get to store players who you may be checking out or considering, whether that's via free agency or on someone else's team, you're monitoring them. So the one thing I will say with the sleeper app, the watch list, they haven't like figured out a way to have the watch list for each league. So say you're in 3 leagues and you have players on the watch list. Well, the watch list is one watch list for all of your leagues. And that's not good. I don't like that. So hopefully that's something that they fix, because I know that a lot of people have been complaining about that. And so they're going to need to work on that. But even with that, still love the app. The app is still great. So I'm not, I'm not stressing over it. Let me get back in here and see what I got going on. Well, I'm going to just pick from here since my computer has failed me. So I am going to pick from here. Now, also in this league, this is a 2 tight end league. So I'm going to go with this with Robert Tonyan. I have him ranked. I think I have him ranked 11th in my rankings. I actually have Irv Smith Jr. 10th. So yeah, I'm the type of person that I need to see more. You can't just come with one season and then I'm just jumping all over you. Sometimes that may be a bad thing, and other times it's good. So, but that's my approach. Everyone has their approach, and you have to figure out what is going to be the best approach for you. This is a redraft league, so I am going to be looking for players who I feel are going to have an impact this year, because this is just a 1-year thing. This is not a dynasty league. So I am looking down here and I'm going to just go with Curtis Samuels. I'm looking for players who are going to have an impact this year. So I may not look at a few rookies, because I feel like they may not have an impact in the redraft, you know? So certain rookies I'm not going to be willing to just draft, because I don't feel like they're going to have that impact unless something happens, God forbid, an injury or something like that, which you hope things like that don't happen. So let's see what's going on out here. So yeah, I see Dre drafting Gronk. I probably wouldn't have drafted him. Although I feel like there's some tight ends that are going to do more than Gronk. I understand we all watched him play well in the playoffs, but I don't see that for a whole season. I actually would prefer OJ Howard over Gronkowski in that on that team. Not saying that he's not going to be solid at times, but that's just my preference. So let's continue to go on with this mock. They're moving right along. I noticed that Dave is sweating over there. He's struggling, stressing out while he's making his picks. Uh, so let's see. Let me get back into this draft and pick what I need to pick. And another thing I'll say also about the sleeper app, sometimes I have issues where I have to uninstall and reinstall because I just think so many people are starting to use the sleeper app more often that sometimes it takes a while to load up or you may have some issues. So I think the good thing is more people are using their app. That's a good thing, but then you have that issue with the whole you gotta uninstall. Like who wants to have to do that? Like that's not something I want to have to continuously deal with or do. So okay, so now I'm looking on at this who's left out here wide receiver wise. Henry Ruggs didn't have a good year last year. I'm looking for people who I feel are going to take care of business this year. They say he's looking good. I've heard that before, but I'm looking for someone I feel is going to, you know, have an impact. So I most likely would go with. I'm looking at him, looking. I don't see anybody I feel is going to have an impact at this stage in the draft. But I'm a firm believer in going to get the guy that you feel is going to play well and who's going to win for your team. So right now I am looking at tight end. So and this May I'm gonna go with Evan Ingram and I'll talk about him a bit. Evan Ingram, the hype is there, the talent is there, but he just hasn't been able to put it together. They use him sometimes. When they use him, he's really good, but then he has those moments where he drops those passes that cost the Giants games. And sometimes, as an owner of Ingram, you lose confidence in him because sometimes he just does not produce. And it is what it is. Right now, considering this is redraft, this is going to be good value for me since we're starting 2 tight ends in this league. So I prefer to have at least 4. So I'm going to pick 4 tight ends I feel is going to play well. And I'm going to go to a tight end who I feel is going to have a breakout year, and someone picked him. He picked him based on me talking about him, and we actually just had a conversation about him probably about 20 minutes ago. So Gerald Everett, I feel he's in a good situation. You got Russell Wilson. He's no longer going to be splitting time with Higbee. You're the guy. You're the starter. I don't care about who else is on that roster that's tight ends. He is the guy. I feel like he has the talent. He's athletic. And Russell Wilson is going to get the tight end the ball. And this is where I look at Everett. And you don't have to draft him that early. Like, for where I would have drafted him at, Quentin could have waited maybe a round or 2, and he probably would have still been there. So with him, it's a reach, but he feels like, hey, this guy's going to have a breakout season because he's going to have opportunity and he's the starter. I would have waited maybe like 2 or 3 rounds because there are still some tight ends on the board who I feel are still going to have have an impact as well. Back to Everett, breakout season. Now, right here, this is the computer. If I'm thinking that Trey Lance is not going to play this season and this is a redraft, I don't see the point in me drafting him, especially if he is not going to play this year. But that's the computer. Hopefully, everyone is aware of the type of league and they make the right choice draft night. I wouldn't look at him just because this is a redraft league and I don't expect him to play, but with the 49ers, you never know because Jimmy G, he's always hurt. So anything can happen out there, but the expectation is he is not going to play. So now when I look here, I'm going to go back and look to see what kind of value here is at wide receiver. Some of these wide receivers I just don't like talent wise. And so I'm going to reach a little bit and I'm going to bring in an old veteran and Crowder, one of my favorites. Most people, oh, that's one of your favorites. Yes, one of my favorites. And he's going to be one of the starters and he's going to be good. He's going to be solid. He can be considered a late sleeper. He probably would have still been on the board, but that's who I wanted to pick up at this point. He's a good investment late in the draft. So we got a few more rounds left. Now let's see where I'm at. Make sure I don't just pick anyone. I can use a backup quarterback. Okay, so in this, I'm going to select Carson Wentz here, and I'm doing this to one. I want to talk about him. So I'm going to draft Carson Wentz. So he injured his foot. Originally, he was going to wait and rest and rehab, which I've had my own experience with a knee and the elbow, and rest and rehab, it doesn't work. You end up having to have surgery. So I'm glad that he made the decision to have surgery. It's going to be out 5 to 12 weeks. This is the route that they can go. They can keep him on the active roster week 1 because I don't feel like he's going to be ready week 1. If they don't, then he won't be able to return until after week 6, which that's hard for a fantasy owner. I had high expectations for Wentz this season. I still do if he's able to come back. It just depends on if and when he returns. Now, when you look at Pittman, Hilton, I'll throw Jonathan Taylor in there, Marlon Mack, Nehemiah Hines, Doyle. When I look at all of those guys, Wentz being out, yes, that hurts. All of their fantasy, except for Jonathan Taylor, he's going to be fine. Get him the ball. He's going to run the ball. He's going to be fine. Marlon Mack, I don't think he's going to be a big factor. He's not a threat to take Taylor's job. But the question is, who's your starting quarterback? You have Jacob Eason, and then you sign Brett Hundley. I'm sorry. And what did he hasn't done anything to make anyone feel confident that, hey, yes, this is the guy. He's going to be a solid starter. And then Jacob Eason, no. So my thoughts were, okay, they can look to, depending on how long Wentz is out, because they know what their plan is. I would look at Gardner Minshew. They could look at Marcus Mariota. One player I felt they could look at if he becomes available is Winston, because who they starting? They're most likely going to go with the Saints are most likely going to go with Hill. So then Winston is just his backup. I don't see the Saints making him available, but if he was to become available, he would be the first backup I would target if they don't anticipate what's coming back to after week 6, because you can't afford to start the season 6 games with Jacob Eason or Brett Hundley. It's not going to work. So with Winston, I feel like, or even Marcus Mariota, I feel like those guys, Pittman, T.Y., they'll be all right. If they don't make a move and they don't expect Wentz back until week 7, their value would go down because no. So they better hope. Well, they already know what's going to happen. So they just got to make the right decision. You got to be careful with the foot injury, and you got to be careful with after surgery care. So to rush him back, they run the risk at him getting hurt again. So they have to they got to be smart about bringing him back. So we'll see. But to me, that hurts everyone. All of the pass catchers on that roster, all wide receivers and tight ends, that hurts their value, in my opinion. Would I still look to draft Pittman? Hell yeah, I would still draft him, especially in a dynasty league, because, okay, although that may hurt his value to start the season somewhat, it's a dynasty league. So you most likely will have wins next season and later on in this, during this season. I better hurry up because the guy's going to cuss me out. So now, wide receiver wise, I've been drafting older wide receivers. And since Wentz is hurt, I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to draft another starter. I like to have all starters. I don't like to have, unless it's a dynasty league where we're just drafting everyone, majority of everyone is a deep, deep league. I like to have starters, because what good is it if you have a starting quarterback and then your backup quarterback is coming off the bench and then something happens to your starter? Most likely, you're going to have some serious issues here. So you don't want to make that choice. And the goal, I always shoot for having all starters, especially in redraft leagues, all starters. That's with running backs, because what good is it to have a starting running back and then your second starter running back is a backup? You're not going to get the points that you're looking for. So it's just not a good idea. But my best strategy again, draft strategy again, was I paired, this is what I did. I ended up with Watson as my starting quarterback. And then I had Devontae Adams, I had Amari Cooper, and I had Will Fuller. So I paired Watson and Will Fuller, and then I had a whole bunch of other wide receivers. And then I had David Montgomery was one of my starting running backs. I had Chris Carson and a few other guys in there. I had TJ Hockenson as my tight end. That ended up being my best regular season team as far as record. I went 11-2, and that was a different strategy. But I paired my quarterback with a wide receiver, and that worked because last season, we all know, was the first season that Will Fuller played the majority of the season until he was suspended. It wasn't due to injury. It was due to a suspension. But I had him and Watson, and they were magical, and I benefited from it, and that helped. So I always say, try to pair your wide receiver with their quarterback. Like I would try to pair Devontae Adams with Aaron Rodgers. We already know who Aaron Rodgers is going to throw the ball to. Okay, if you want to pick up Randall Cobb, that's on you. But no, I want to pair Aaron Rodgers with Devontae Adams, and even possibly, if I couldn't do that, then I'm going to look at getting Aaron Jones as well. Now, what Dave could have done was he could have paired Kels with Mahomes if he would have drafted him here. I noticed that he is all of a sudden on this Joe Mixon bandwagon, and that's just because he's been listening to the Queen, but it's all good. I'm looking to see if he paired anyone, or does his roster make sense. I don't see how it makes sense. Now, yeah, I look at some of these guys and I'm like, I wouldn't. Okay, let's talk about Dallas Goedert. Okay, so Philly owner came out and said that he expects Zach Ertz to be on the roster week 1. I still feel like Dallas Goedert is a tight end 1. However, it's more on the lower end until we know what the hell they're going to do with Zach Ertz. Are they going to get him involved like they used to do, or are they going to finally embrace the the Dallas Goddard movement and let him get out there and shine. We all know they jumped up in the draft over the Cowboys to draft him, to stick it to the Cowboys. So let's let this guy start and not start 50% of the time and share the damn snaps. Let's let him be the guy. And y'all just got to figure out how to move on from Ertz. Or they may just go with both out there, and that's fine. I still would prefer to have I don't went on auto pick. They didn't put me on auto pick. That's terrible. But that's okay. I can't even turn it off. So I'm just going to leave it. Okay, I was able to get it. So that turned out a little off. I would have never drafted Christian Kirk. He would have been left undrafted in a redraft league for me because I'm not a believer in him. So he would have been left out there. But nonetheless, the computer believes in him. So we're going to allow the computer to do its thing. Will Lutz, that's a solid pick for round 18. Other players I feel are going to have some good seasons this year. Let's see. Some young players. Yeah. I think David Montgomery is going to be good this year. He was good. He was great last year. I think he's going to be great this season. Cohen is on Cohen's not going to be ready to start the season. I'm not high on Williams. Give Montgomery the ball, because when you give him the ball, what happens? He produces. And they're high and speaking highly of Andy Dalton. So I think Andy Dalton is an upgrade from the quarterbacks last year. So that actually helps and Allen Robinson and David Montgomery. So a lot of people sleep on David Montgomery and just talk as if he's not good. Well, got to give him the tools. And I feel like Andy Dalton, that's an upgrade. And then once they move on from Andy Dalton and go to the young quarterback, Montgomery is going to ball out. He's going to continue to. So Dave has a lot of pressure on him. He's struggling to make this pick. I wouldn't have drafted Jackson. I don't see the point. I'm not going to tell him, hey, this is a redraft, because that's one thing I always stress when you're drafting is you need to know the format of the league, know the format of the league, because you may think you're in a super flex league and then end up drafting two quarterbacks early and you're looking like, okay, this is not a super flex league. And we've seen that. So this mock draft is about to end. I'm just going to look and see who I can grab. I am definitely upset about that Christian Kirk pick. And I'm just going to end it with him. So that is going to wrap up our mock. I got this Don't Try Me commish shirt on. Y'all can check out this shirt. Go to the Dream Elite Strive for Excellence website. We got fantasy football merch on sale. Use code FANTASYFOOTBALL10 and you get 10% off on your order. So that's FFB10 and you get a discount. Y'all let me know who you think had the best draft, if I can pull this down. Sometimes this app it reacts kind of slowly. So if I can get it to, oh, here we go. Come on. Moving a little slow. So that's about as good as I can get it. But y'all let me know who y'all think had the best draft. As you can see, probably one of the computers. But let's stop sharing. And again, so like check this shirt out. This is Don't Try Me commish. As a commissioner, all the commissioners out there, you all know how it is with difficult managers in your leagues. And so why not put your Don't Try Me commissioner on and let them know, look, don't try me. You know, you always have that one person who joins your league and they try to tell you this is what it should be and this and that. And you know what? Don't try me. Fall back and let me run my league, or you don't have to join my league. And that's why you let people know up front, hey, this is the setup of the league. This is what it is. If you don't like the rules and how it's set up and how I run my leagues, then you don't have to join my leagues. So yes, don't try me, Commish T on the Dream Elite Strive for Excellence website. Have other fantasy football merch. I will leave the link and the offer code in the description. Go and check it out. Some really funky, weird, cool, dope merch. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in to our mock draft. We're going to do another one shortly. So tune in about 5-10 minutes. We'll do another mock. And we're going to bring some more of the people from our league in. And we just having a little fun. We getting ready. We enjoy each other's company. That's a lie, but no. Y'all hit that subscribe button and follow Waiver Wire Queen for more on fantasy football. I'm trying to get y'all ready for the season so y'all can compete at a high level and win your league. The goal is to not only make the playoffs, the goal is to, in the money league, win that cash, because it's not about bragging rights. I need that cash. But anyway, y'all be great. Peace.